Guys, I literally just sprinted out of my shower, getting myself ready for the day. We've seen a lot of rumblings between Justin Verlander and the Mets yesterday. Was talking about it plenty on social media. Carlos Baerga posting on Instagram that the Mets would be eyeing getting around a 2-year, $86+ million deal with a third-year option for JV, and he ended up being right in the end, as Justin Verlander is officially a New York Met on a 2-year, $86 million deal with a third-year vesting option. Again, guys, just bear with me. I'm just hopping on now. I haven't even eaten anything today. I'm just getting my day started, so I apologize for being slightly late to the party. Thank you guys all so much for being in here. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Greatly appreciate. But just literally, 48 hours after losing their coveted ace in Jacob deGrom, the Mets have already filled that void for at minimum the next 2 years, with Justin Verlander reuniting with Max Scherzer at the tippity top of this rotation, just like what they did back in the day with the Detroit Tigers. So my raw reactions to this, I want to see yours in the live stream. Make sure to smash those buttons. Greatly appreciate, folks. For me, I'm hyped about this because I love the fact that it is a vesting option for the third year. The third year is not guaranteed, okay? And this is what I was preaching on my shows plenty already, that the Mets were to get this deal done, at least have a vesting option based on, types of innings pitched or something along those lines, right? I don't know exactly what the terms of the vesting deal are just yet. We're soon going to find out. But what we do know is that he's making over 40 mil per year for the first 2 years of that deal. If that's the only years of the deal, that's perfectly fine. Again, the Mets are in a win-now stage. They're focusing on short-term, high AAV type contracts. This is right in the bread and butter for what they're accustomed of doing. But yes, the Mets have landed the ace that they were prioritizing, apparently even before Jacob deGrom's situation was figured out, that being in Justin Verlander. JV is coming off of a Cy Young award-winning season for the World Series winning Houston Astros. JV, who I have famously criticized about him in big games. He did step up in the final game that mattered most for them in the World Series. However, JV's someone where, for me, there's a couple things that I look at with this signing for the Mets. I look at, one, what is Justin Verlander's drive at this point in his career? He's a bona fide Hall of Famer as soon as he retires, right? So what is his drive after just winning the World Series at the age of 39? How is that going to transition now to New York, the Big Apple? He's never played in a market like this. He's been in Detroit and he's been in Houston, two vastly different markets than what New York, the Big Apple, is going to bring you. And yes, I know his wife, Kate Upton, knows a thing or two about being a part of big atmospheres, not only their time in LA, but also her in New York plenty as a model. But the point stands, this is going to be an interesting transition for someone like Justin Verlander. I'm excited to find out how this is all going to unravel. But what I do know is that this is exactly what I expected the Mets to do, and I'm not surprised. And let's see here, guys. The Mets are certainly not done. According to multiple reports, they're not done with acquiring pitching. They're still very much in the market with guys like Kodai Senga, Andrew Heaney, Jameson Taillon, and Chris Bassett. We will see if they land any others today or in the coming days. And stay tuned as well, folks. We're going to be live later today, probably around 8:45 p.m. Eastern time for the Bleav in Queens podcast, breaking down a free agent frenzy. We're also going to have Pat Ragazzo on the beat in winter meetings in San Diego tonight, chiming in the show to share his raw reactions and everything that's going on in San Diego live. So big show later tonight. Stay tuned for that. But more than anything, I just want to see your raw reactions, folks. Again, the Mets, no one should be surprised that they got this deal done. I'm glad that's on a 2-year deal. That's a guarantee. And then third year is potentially going to happen based on the vesting option, what he did, I'd imagine, through those two, either first 2 years or just that second year that'll lead him to getting that third-year contract. So very interesting to see what's going to pan out here with JV and his time in Queens. But more than anything, let's get a pull up here in the live show. I want to know if you guys are in favor or against this deal. I think that's the big thing. So let's go ahead and do that. Continue smashing those buttons, guys. Help us get 100 likes for our first short-term goal. Greatly appreciate it. We're going to try to get to a couple hundred by the end of the live show, and thank you guys all so much in advance. Give me 1 second, everybody. But Mets fans, how are we feeling? Or do you guys like this deal? For me, I'm okay with this deal. I don't love it and I don't hate it at the same time, if it makes sense. I like that it's only guaranteed for 2 years. If it was guaranteed for 3 years, I would be feeling a bit more iffy. I'm being 100%. I would be feeling a lot more iffy if it was a guaranteed 3 years. So MLB Network, they aren't on out on Rodon. If the Mets get if I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not getting my hopes up, but if the Mets got Rodon as well, I would lose my freaking mind. I don't think it's going to happen, but I will stay cautiously optimistic the same way I'm cautiously optimistic about Verlander and this deal with the Mets. It's funny because we all had this expectation, right? That it was going to be deGrom and Scherzer that dominate in this rotation for the next 2-3 years. Farthest thing from the truth. Now, replacing one ace with another, that being Justin Verlander coming to Queens now. And he is going to hopefully do what we expected Jake to do with Max, because Jake only had a handful of starts this past year, dealing with injury once again. Now JV comes in. He's been healthy. He has a new elbow coming off of Tommy John. We know that. So, again, he's an anomaly of a pitcher, too. That I think that's one thing that always has wowed me about Justin Verlander is the fact that he missed a solid 2 years, 2 flipping years with Tommy John surgery when he was already in his mid to late 30s. I mean, how many guys come back from that to begin with? I think that's the most mind-boggling thing for me. You never see that happen with guys of his age. Again, Justin Verlander is up there with the greats that we have seen in recent history. He's alongside with Max as well. I mean, if Verlander really does pitch into like, say, let's talk hypothetically, his mid 40s, he's going to be in Nolan Ryan territory, which is just absolutely absurd. But let's get this pull up here. Okay, now let's get that pull up there. There we go. Beautiful. Again, shout out everyone here in the live show. Greatly appreciate breaking news, folks. The New York Metropolitans have signed veteran right-hander, Cy Young Award winning right-hander at the age of 39 in the World Series winning team with the Houston Astros, and Justin Verlander to a 2-year, $86 million deal. And he's going to have a chance to be having a third year because there is a vesting option. Again, I do not know the exact terms of that vesting option just yet. Once we find them out, or if someone tags me in them, I will gladly talk about it then. But yeah, big news is that, yes, the Mets have landed JV. Let's hear most important attribute. Check Michael Marino. I will right now. Do not believe Rodon is still a target for the Mets, says Marino. Have sent Yankees more in. I would agree that the Yanks are. I think the Yanks, the Dodgers are the two biggest teams to watch now for Rodon, because they just lost out on JV, right? So I don't think that the Mets are going to land Rodon, just because I don't foresee them doing a massive overpay for Rodon on a longer term deal, which is something that they've been hesitant about with all starting pitching options out there, versus what they already have now in a short term high AAV deal with Verlander. I said from the beginning, would I love both of them? Of course I would, but I feel fairly confident in saying that the next pitcher the Mets land will be in that Senga, Bassett, Walker, Tyone, Heaney, Stripling type territory, if that makes sense. I will say this in regards to Kodai Senga, I have not heard much about him in a little bit now. I haven't really heard much about him regarding the Mets since the Mets originally were reported to scout him. What I do know, though, is that you'd have to imagine that Billy Epler is enamored with someone like Kodai Senga. Senga is someone that literally I'd imagine he's been scouting for a decent period of time in the MPB, just like he did with Shohei Ohtani. I mean, that's what he's famous for, and I'm sure that was a factor to a degree in the Mets hiring Billy to begin with, knowing that he has that connection and strong rapport overseas in the MPB when scouting Japanese players, players of Asian descent as a whole. So I don't know what's going to happen on the Kodai front, but I would certainly love him. I really would. I think he's the best pitcher out there in the middle level when it talks about not only what he currently has, but how much potential he has. I think we know what we can expect with most stars. The only guy I will argue right now is Jameson Tyone, just because of the fact that Tyone 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, the Mets were really, really close to getting a deal done. We're in deep discussions with Tyone. It fell through because his market is massive, but they're still very much in the Tyone market. I think the Mets are absolutely in love with Tyone because he's only at the age of 31, I Bleav, right around there. Has an elite walk rate. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball with his walk rate and walks per nine. Simply, he has like a 5-6 pitch arsenal, Chris Bassett-esque. The big thing for him is just making sure he's not getting hit hard and giving up the home run ball. So if the Mets can get that down, Tyone is a guy that still has untapped potential viewed by the Mets and many other teams of baseball. So I understand why they're really pushing hard for him. And I wouldn't be against Tyone. I think that's realistic, but I also think that his market might be too expensive on a longer term deal now that he may be out of the range for what the Mets are doing. But I don't want to harp on too much with that. I would also like to mention we know about Brandon Nimmo. The Mets would love him back, but they're already showing interest in guys like Andrew Benintendi in these winter meetings in case they lose out on Nimmo, which I want Nimmo more than anything. That's the biggest thing. But we're going to get into all the nitty and gritty about all the latest news and rumors for Free Agent Frenzy show tonight with a live reporter and Pat Ragazzo on the beat for the Mets in San Diego at winter meetings. So we have a big show coming tonight for the podcast. We'll be doing streams all week long, new videos all week long. So make sure you smash that like and subscribe on if you guys are here. And yes, of course, it's an overpay. This is, I think, the funniest thing. Guys, see the guy on the wall behind me right there, Max Scherzer? Himself was an overpay. No one should be surprised that Justin Verlander, who just won the Cy Young, it doesn't matter of his age, is of course going to get an overpay. The Mets are comfortable with doing overpays on short-term deals because it doesn't hurt their long-term flexibility. They're in a win-now stage. They have JV only guaranteed for 2 years. I understand their notion. Granted, it's cautious optimism in my opinion. Let me put it this way. I have no clue how healthy and durable JV is going to be along with Scherzer. That's your two-headed monster for the rotation as of now until otherwise when they acquire more pitchers, 1 or 2 more at absolute most. So we don't know how durable these guys are going to be now, quite literally right around close to their 40s, if not in their 40s. So that was my biggest concern about pursuing JV, even on a short-term deal. I just don't know how durable they're going to be down the stretch for a Mets team that clearly needs these guys to have a deep run into playoffs and World Series. JV just won the World Series. He just dealt with a long playoff run. How is that going to impact his health next season as well? These are question marks, 1,000%. And I 100% agree with the cautious optimism being against the deal to a degree. However, I do understand why you should be excited as a Mets fan because the Mets just replaced one ace with another like it was nothing. Literally like it was nothing. I tweeted it out to everyone from the jump as soon as deGrom was gone that Verlander to the Mets is inevitable. It truly felt inevitable, and now here we are. I do see some donations. I'll get to them shortly, and I'll check more on Michael Marino. Love Michael. He does a great job as an independent baseball reporter. Give me 1 second, though, everybody. Hold on, folks. Give me 1 second. Okay, now let's get to your donos, guys. We already have 1,000 viewers in here. Thank you guys all so much for that. Continue smashing those buttons. Guys, we are less than 1,000 subs away from 20K on the channel. We are doing a massive giveaway on the channel, most likely a jersey giveaway on the channel once we hit 20K. So make sure you smash those buttons. Greatly appreciate it. If you're looking for the most consistent Mets coverage here on YouTube, not only myself, but of course the podcast, Bleav in Queens, former New York Met and MLB Network analyst Anthony Recker on the channel weekly. Joe Sorrell, my other co-host, along with other great guests. If you like all sorts of Mets coverage, this is a place to be. So thank you all so much in advance for smashing those buttons. But let me get to some donations quick, then I'll check tweets that you guys want me to check and things of that nature. Let's see here. I want to make sure I do not miss anything. Pet Mets, thank you so much for the $10 donation. It says Verlander is a good signing. People should not worry about how much he's getting since this is Steve Cohen. As long as he keep improving, seems as if the Mets not interested bringing Walker back. Yeah, I don't think Walker's coming back. The Mets haven't shown the same level of interest in Walker as they have with other pitchers. But yeah, I agree with you on that one. I would be surprised if Tyone returned. Pet Mets, thank you so much for that donation. I appreciate that. Hype in the chat to you. Breaking news to everyone just chimed in. If you're watching on replay, let me know your thoughts and comments below. And of course, guys, just briefly have to let you all know that today's show is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. So make sure you head over to betonline.ag using promo code Bleav at BLEAV. That we get a 50% off welcome bonus. Again, that is BLEAV for 50% off welcome bonus. BetOnline is where the games begin. And now, folks, let's get more into the show. Going to answer more donations. And a lot of people asked me, give Taiwan some money and love. I love Taiwan. I love Taiwan. I would love for him to return. I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen. I'll be surprised, Jersey Abrahams. But thank you for the dono. And before I get to more donations, I did also want to make note that, yes, shout out to Carlos Baerga. He wasn't identical on the deal, but he was accurate in his reporting yesterday. He said that the Mets and Verlander were nearing a deal, that they were getting close. And there was a lot of different rumblings from sources who have been right and wrong before. And then he went out and further reported that they just have to get physicals done. Verlander will sign tomorrow. And he did. I mean, he literally signed at what? Like 12:30 p.m. Eastern time today. So shout out to Baerga as well. He's been right about multiple things regarding Blue Jays reports. He was wrong last offseason. He reported that Freddie Freeman was going to the Blue Jays. That, of course, did not happen. But he's been accurate multiple times. So got to give credit where credit's due. Baerga is the first to really throw this out there and to have numbers out. His original reporting was 2 years, $86.8 million with a third-year mutual option. So he wasn't far off at all. It was 2 years, $86 million with a third-year vesting option. So again, once more, shout out to Carlos Baerga. He was close. He was damn close. Matthew, thank you so much for the dono. I get it, he's nearly 40, but guys, he's shown no signs of slowing down yet. He just had his 6th season. This eases the pain of deGrom leaving. I 100% agree. 100% agree that this eases the pain of Jake leaving for right now. How will it ease over time? We'll find out then. But give me 1 second. Hold on, guys. I talked about Rodon. I don't think Rodon is going to come here personally. I think that he's going to be overpaid and prioritized heavier with other teams led by the Yankees and the Dodgers, who really can use another starter like that. But the Mets will still be in the Rodon market. I just don't think that they're the favorites to land him at this juncture. I would love to be proven wrong, but gut just tells me that they're not favorites right now. His ERA will be 4.44 with the Mets. I love the optimism there. Like I didn't hear that with Max Scherzer, right? Who Max had a really good year with the Mets. Injuries aside, just sucked, you know what, in the final 2 starts of the year, which really hurts. So that's another concern for me as well. It's durability. The Mets need to make sure that they don't only add more pitching, but they add as much pitching depth as humanly possible. Because the reality is I will be surprised if Verlander and Scherzer both apiece pitch 30 games this year. I will be very surprised if that happens. I think a more realistic route is more towards 24, 25 than 30. So how are you going to fill that void? That's something that the Mets need to make sure they do by having their internal options and guys like Peterson, McGill, swingman types, but also making sure that you address things properly on the free agent and or trade market too. But Mike, thank you for the dono. He says Santa Cohen made his list and checked it twice. Hopefully Nimmo is on it. Super hyped though. I'm hyped as well. I pray that Nimmo returns. I'm getting more concerned by the day with Brandon because I know his market is stupid, expensive. It's big. I just hope the Mets get it done, man. I do, because I'm not one of those believers that Starling Marte will have a comfortable year in center field. Should he have to shift to center next year? Could he? Yes, but I have concerns for all the injuries that Marte has dealt with of recent, especially he's coming off of an abdominal surgery this offseason as well. The guy's legs are going to continue to slow down, and I want to get the most out of Marte, which is in the corner. They showed it. Like, he was able to not be 100% with his running and still handle right field fine for a good portion of the year. I'm concerned if you shift Marte now in his mid-30s, who didn't play 1 inning of center field this past year, at least that's what it feels like, right? To then go in center for a full season. I think that there's a lot of concerns there. And I know that in part the Mets did sign Marte in the scenario where they would lose Nimmo, somewhat similar to how the Mets locked in Scherzer and for multiple years, so that way if they lose deGrom, they still at minimum have an ace at the top of the rotation. But still, I'm someone who's a heavy who's in heavy favor of bringing back Nimmo, unless you can somehow, some way swing a trade for Brian Reynolds, which I don't see the Mets doing. I do not see them giving up that type of prospect capital. But let's see here, guys. We got right around 1,200 live viewers. Thank you all so much for that. I like it. Good job by the Mets. Shout out to you guys. Make sure to check out Jim at Ballcap Sports. Phenomenal baseball YouTube channel. Does a great job. Love my man, Jim. Make sure to check him out. He's covering all things this offseason. All right, Verlander, details on his contract. Again, it's $43.3 million per year. Full no trade clause. Third-year option at $35 million. $35 million if the vesting option is accurate. So, Kate Upton and Justin Verlander are heading themselves to Queens, folks. Verlander spent the weekend spending heavy time looking at the Mets organization, speaking with them, seeing if this was the right fit. Of course, money was that X factor for sure. I'm sure that the Mets had the highest offer on the table. And for a guy that just won the Cy Young, he's clearly just in the World Series. He's looking for the bag. Again, for me, I just hope that that drive is still there for him. That's my biggest thing when evaluating someone like Verlander. But I also would like to make a note, guys, that there was an interesting piece. And this is very similar to the situation with Max Scherzer last offseason. Did the overpay help? Yes, of course it absolutely did. But another factor that definitely came into play, in my opinion, was the following. This article that came out from the New York Post like 2 days ago. Let's see. Justin Verlander and his wife, Kate Upton, sold their Beverly Hills, California home in May and bought a house in Jupiter, Florida, which just so happens to be the same town Max Scherzer lives in. So I don't know exactly how bizarre of a coincidence that is, but it tells you that there was a belief to a degree for Verlander that he would be moving more than likely to the NL, right? I think we can all agree on that one. I understand. I don't blame people for moving out of Cali right now, too. But still, I'm not surprised. Let me put it that way. This is such a Scherzer 2.0 situation. It's actually silly, and I love the fact that again for the third-year option, it's a vesting option. And it's not a player option like it is with Max. And again, maybe is Max going to walk away for his final year of the contract? This year will decide that. I'd be surprised only because of the fact of how much money he's making for that third year. I think that would be foolish on his end, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. Let's just hope that these guys stay healthy and take the bets, help them get to the promised land that they so desperately want to get. And one more thing that I would like to make note to everyone here, guys, is as much as I love Jacob deGrom and always will, even though that I know a lot of Mets fans feel backstabbed by the fact that he just wanted to leave Queens. It is what it is. He didn't want his legacy here. A lot of factors went into it. What I will say, though, let's not forget how much of an impact Jacob deGrom has had on the Mets in winning ball games his entire career. Cue the sarcasm. He hasn't, because the Mets either drastically underperformed more often than not when he was on the bump, or two, the guy hasn't been healthy. The past 2 years, how many games has he played for the Mets? Very little. He had 5 wins out of the 101 wins for the Mets this past year. Okay? Now imagine heading into next season, having 2 aces at the top of your rotation from the start, something you did not have for the large portion of the 2022 campaign. So just keep that in mind when evaluating this entire situation. You know, I'm not, if Jake came back, I would be excited as all hell. Don't get me wrong. But I'm trying to make the point that even when Jake has been here, even when Jake has been the most dominant and most filthy pitcher on the planet, you can make the argument, how much has it mattered at this point? Because they haven't done anything with it. They haven't done anything with Jake at the absolute peak of his career. I mean, it drives me nuts, but they literally didn't score for this guy. Imagine winning Cy Youngs with like a losing record. It's insane. So I think, again, the further point I'm trying to make is, as much as it pains me to still see Jake gone, there was something about Jake that the Mets just didn't know how to handle. It reminds me a lot of being a New York Rangers fan with hockey and Henrik Lundqvist for years on end, not getting the proper support. The team playing down, knowing he's in net a good portion of time because they feel that, oh, he can constantly bail you out. The Mets playing down offensively because they know that Jake can bail you out and still help you win a 1-0 ball game. I know that I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but the point stands. The Mets did not do nearly enough with what they should have done with Jake during his time in Queens. Now he's gone. Hopefully that sense of having dominant pitching and not having offensive production behind it is also gone. Because Max has gone run support plenty in his 1 year with the Mets. Many Mets pitchers got plenty of run support. Yes, it was up and down. I understand that. But the point still lies. Hopefully this is a changing of the guard with, again, having dominant pitching and also having the Mets be in a position where their offense can actually produce this time. Gilbert, thank you for the dono. He says, Verlander excels with his six-man rotation. Astros fan. I agree. And you're 100% right, Gilbert. Thank you so much for the dono. And the Mets will certainly have a six-man. Assuming the Mets land at least one more pitcher, let's talk hypothetically, it's a Tyone, right? Or a Senga. You got Verlander 1, Scherzer 2, or the other way around. I would imagine Verlander 1, but we'll see. Then you're going to have Tyone 3, Cookie 4, Peterson 5, McGill 6 as of now. Hopefully the Mets add a little bit more depth than that just because I want as much certainties as possible. But yes, him with his six-man. And again, Verlander's all about analytics too. That's another thing, guys. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Verlander's option vests as a player option at $35 million for 2025 if he pitches 140 innings in 2024. Okay, so if Verlander pitches 140 innings in his second year with the Mets, he will then get that option for $35 million in his walk year in 2025. Hold on, guys. I'm seeing a new report here. Justin Verlander's contract with the New York Mets is actually 2 years, $86.6 million, according to a source familiar with the situation. Carlos Baerga was even more right. Carlos Baerga he posted on Instagram yesterday, $86.8 million. It's 86.6. So scratch that. Scratch what I have on the graphic. It just says 86 million. No, it's 86.6. So Baerga was even closer than what we thought. That's crazy. That's actually nuts. Again, guys, continue to make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you all so much in advance. And also make sure to check out the poll and let me know if you're in favor, feeling middle of the way, not too sure yet about the Verlander deal, or if you're against it. Whatever your thoughts are, I want to hear it in the live chat for people on replay and, of course, in the poll. Thank you guys all so much for that, as always. Let's see here. Dan, thank you so much for the $20 donation. We'll always love Jake, but it's about the future now. 2 first ballot Hall of Famers at the top of the rotation. Big money, short years, let's go. 100%, Dan. Thank you so much for the donation. Greatly appreciate that. Hype in the chat to you, brother. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Ooh, this looks clean. I'm not going to lie. There we go. There we go. It's probably hard for you guys to see, but there's Verlander already photoshopped in the Mets uni. Okay, let's see here. Let me check the poll real quick, everybody. 65% of you guys out of 1,000 votes already love the deal. Okay. 28% not sure yet, and only 8% dislike it. Okay. It's actually better than I was expecting. And guys, we're close to 300 likes already, so continue smashing those buttons, and thank you all so much in advance. And like I said, stay tuned because we will be again we're going to be live here for quite a bit longer still, but we are also going to be live later tonight as part of the Bleav in Queens podcast, breaking down losing Jake and what it means to now have Verlander. I know I'm going to be more optimistic than what Anthony Recker's going to be. I'm saying that right now because Reck knows damn well. And also stay tuned because we will have Pat Ragazzo on the beat for the Mets on the show live in San Diego at the winter meetings, giving his raw insight as to all that's happening, the latest there, assuming that no more deals happen by time from here until around 8:45, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Big show tonight as well, so stay tuned for that, everybody. And thank you all so much in advance for your endless support. So let's see here. Hey, Rory, how's mental health been? Mental health's been okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, the anxiety comes in ebbs and flows. But thankfully, I've been a little bit better lately. Thank you for asking. I'm going to be put to the test this week because this is going to be a very hectic week following along with the winter meetings, but we're going to get through it. Let's see here what you guys have to say. Read that Rodon wants a 6-year deal. Yeah. No, if Rodon gets 6 years, it's not going to be with the Mets. I'm telling you guys right now. It is not going to be with the Mets if Rodon gets a 6-year deal. I just don't. How is it? How is that going to happen? Right? How the hell are the Mets going to go 6 years for Rodon? I just don't really see that happening. I don't. Hold on, guys. Let's see what Record just had to say because I saw him just tweet. Bear with me 1 second. And once more, I'm just happy that the Mets were able to get the top dog on the market, replacement for deGrom, like that. And it was hilarious hearing from Mets fans, the schmucks out there who think that, oh, Steve Cohen's like not putting any effort in this offseason. Like, do you not pay attention? Do you not pay attention? Jake didn't want to be here. One, he didn't even let the Mets talk with him once he started negotiating with the Texas Rangers. So there's that. I just think it's asinine that people go out of their way to still somehow talk shit on Cohen, especially regarding a cheap aspect. You have no clue what you're talking about. The highest payroll in baseball last year, and you're not paying attention. Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. And the Mets just went out, literally went out. Not effortlessly, but they just casually went out and threw a bag to the reigning Cy Young Award winner to lock him up and pretty much make him not even think twice about wanting to go to the Dodgers, the Yanks, or back to Houston on a slight pay cut. Well, let's be realistic. The Astros are still the best team in baseball right now. So there's two factors that come into this. One, it's the overpay. Verlander's going to go the biggest bag. Two, it's going to a market that he knows that he can hone in on with advanced analytics, something that he did so well with the Astros. Again, let's also not forget, Verlander was a sticky substance merchant when he made his way to Houston. No one talks about it because he was able to brush it under the rug because he was gone for 2 years with Tommy John rehabbing while they were dealing with the whole cheating scandal and the sticky substance breakdown. But Verlander comes back and still is dominant again while not using sticky stuff because he's so enamored, he's so focused on the numbers. That's the crazy thing. For his age, he's so analytically driven, it's absurd. And he need to make sure that he went to a place that is equally as analytically driven. The Mets have 30 plus people in their staff right now for analytics, player development, all those things. It's night and day from what it was during the time with the Wilpons. The Mets didn't even have an analytics staff when the Wilpons were under ownership. Do you guys realize that? They didn't believe in analytics. And that was literally just 2-3 years ago. 2-3 years ago that the Wilpons didn't even bat an eye to some of the most important numbers in baseball now, especially for veterans like Verlander, who are trying to keep themselves healthy and knowing what pitchers are going to work still at his age of 40. So all these factors went in. But I think the point I'm trying to make again is that the Mets were able to get this done quite literally like it was no problem. And that is why when Andy Martino originally came out and reported that the Mets view Verlander more than a plan B, like they were really wowed by him from their original meetings prior to them losing out on Jake, that it told you that the Mets were pretty much going to go all in on Verlander regardless on what happened with Jake more than likely because Verlander still fits the bill. Verlander still fits the bill as a short-term high AAV type deal. I don't think it would have been the most impossible thing in the world for the Mets to land Verlander, even if they got Jake back. Do I think it's stretching? Yes, but I don't think it's under the realm of impossibility. So furthermore, the Mets really, really like Justin Verlander. They love his stuff. He's a future Hall of Famer just like Max. And I'm excited as all hell. I'm going to put Verlander right next to Max on my wall, reuniting them during their time that they had in Detroit. But it all comes down to this, folks. How healthy, how durable are you going to be in a 162? And how much depth are the Mets going to continue to address to this rotation over the coming days? I have a strong feeling that the Mets are going to sign another pitcher in the next 48 hours. I have a very strong feeling in that. And this isn't based on inside info that I've been told or anything of that nature. This is just what's been widely reported. The Mets are not done. They're not even close to being done. Now it's the question on how do they add from here? What are your best options if, say, the best way to keep Verlander and Scherzer healthy is that a good portion of their starts that they only go, say, 6 innings, right? You don't want to push them 7, 8 much. 8's never going to happen, but 7. So, like, what is the best route for the Mets in keeping these guys healthy? They need to make sure that they are on the money when it comes to this, one, but two, they just need to make sure that they have as much pitching depth as humanly possible. That's exactly what you need to do. And for me, my biggest concern aside from health, I said this earlier in the show and I'll say it again, is Verlander's drive. Verlander is an amazing pitcher. He has done everything humanly possible at the MLB level among starters, right? He just won the World Series and performed in his second World Series start, which I give him massive credit for because he was not looking good for the large portion of postseason. Verlander has been the opposite of clutch throughout his career in the World Series, but he had one of, if not the best start he's ever had in his World Series tenure in the final World Series game he had with the Astros at the age of 39. That is impressive. That's good to see. But my concern more than anything, again, is his drive. You just won the World Series, okay? You're a multi-Cy Young award-winning champion. Is this someone that is going to come into Queens and perform exactly the same way from the jump? Or are we going to see, is there a world where we're going to see a lack of interest? Is there a world where we're going to see just nonsensical shit happening because now he got the bag? I don't think that's going to happen, but that's always going to be a concern for me personally. Always a concern for a guy that's coming off of, statistically, ERA-wise, just like Scherzer when the Mets picked him up. His best season of his career, ERA-wise. Again, that ERA doesn't stand for everything. I'm in favor of more advanced numbers, expected ERA, SI ERA, FIP, pardon me, expected FIP, things of that nature. But the point I'm trying to make here is that for Verlander, the drive is what I want to know. The drive is what I want to know. Verlander is going for 300 wins, no concern. That's how many wins does Verlander currently have? Can you guys let me know in the chat? Because I don't put wins on the stat line because wins only mean so much. We know that damn well with Jake during his time with the Mets. Okay, so yes, they're a factor, but they're not nearly as important as what people made them out to be for years. I mean, Rick Porcello, that's what I think of. Frank the Tank is crazy. Yes, he is. He's an absolute madman. Let's see. Anthony Recker, my co-host, tweets out the follow. He has 244. Oh, okay. Well, he's not gonna get 300. I mean, maybe. Honestly, maybe. If he pitches till he's like 44, 43, 44 and stays healthy, it's possible. Might have to push closer to 45. He might need to be on his Brady shit if he's really trying to get a 300. Because think about it. Realistically, how many wins is Verlander? In the best case scenario for Verlander, he's probably not getting more than what? Between 15 and 17 wins a season? Am I wrong? Carlos, thank you for the dono. Verlander already has legacy, market power, and lots of dough. He wants to pitch for a winner. Wink face. Thank you for the dono, Carlos. Greatly appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Recker said the following. Really want to be positive about JV the Mets. I mean, he's great. Hall of Famer, 3-time Cy Young, second-time World Series. But at what point is overpaying at 38, Scherzer, and Verlander 40 considered sustained success? The Mets have touted the past 2 years. That logic doesn't add up for me. Hope I'm wrong. Really do. And again, that's a fair argument by Anthony. I'm really looking forward to discussing Verlander later in our live stream tonight with him because it's going to be fun. Check iTalk Studios. iTalk also did report last night that the Mets were going to have a deal with Verlander. But again, he was right about a lot of things last offseason. Most people already know this, so it's not a huge deal. Astros are in on Wilson Contreras. I know that. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about overall free agency stuff as I am just focused on Verlander. We'll get to more things on the Mets aside from the pitching, including Nimmo and others and baseball overall in tonight's show and in the shows over the coming days. Because we're going to be going live more than likely for each night throughout the majority of the week. I'm going to try to, at least. And then if there's individual video, and it's funny, guys, because I was very close to doing a video. I went to shower, had a late start to my day. I was lazy getting out of bed. I went to shower. I squint with my contacts out, and I see that the Mets land Verlander according to Martino. And then right as I was going to shower afterwards, I was going to do a video on Andrew Benintendi because the Mets are pursuing him should they lose out on Nimmo. So I'm glad that I wasn't bothering doing that at least, because that would have been even more of a pain in the neck, focusing on different content than having to jump to this. Let's see. Among the starting pitchers the Mets are still actively pursuing, that is the biggest troll job I've ever seen from Steven Nesbitt on Twitter. Rick Porcello, Anibal Sanchez, Galarga, whatever, Bonnerman, and Doug Fisher. None of that's going to happen. I would like to make that clear. That's just a troll tweet. That's hilarious. And like I said, just bear with me, guys, as I'm trying to see if there's any new reports coming out there. But yeah, like I said, guys, we're less than 1,000 subs away already from 20K on the channel. We're doing a massive giveaway on the channel. A big, you know what, guys? I think this is fitting. I think this is fitting. If you guys want it, the 20K giveaway on the channel will be a Justin Verlander jersey. Okay? We did that last off season. I forgot what K it was that we hit. I don't remember. Maybe it was 15. I'm not sure. But when the Mets got Scherzer, I did a Max Scherzer jersey giveaway. And now, once we hit 20K, we will do a Verlander jersey giveaway. I think that's completely fair, given the fact that Verlander is the biggest signing the Mets will soonly make this offseason. So, or if you guys want it to be, say, Kate Upton on the back instead of Verlander, I can gladly do that too. I can get creative. I can do whatever you guys want. Either way, we're going to be getting that jersey out for you guys once we hit 20K, so make sure to continue smashing those buttons. And thank you all so much in advance. But I will say that the Mets pick up another nice player like a Senga, like someone new that you would want that jersey up to. Whoever wins it will be an anonymous winner, in the sense that it'll be random. If you don't want Verlander and say you want Senga, if the Mets get Senga, I'll get you Senga. Hopefully, as long as there's a number announced by then. We don't know yet, though. Either way, give me a 69 Kate Upton jersey. If you win, Matthew, then you got it. So either way, get the word out there for people on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram. Clip this, and again, show it out there. Help us get a 20K subs. We're going to have a Verlander, a Kate Upton, a Senga, whatever jersey you want, basically. But I'm going to say Verlander is the heavy favorite for sure right now. We're going to get that sent to you guys to one lucky winner. That, again, last giveaway we did was a Max Scherzer ticker bobblehead that we did a couple months ago, and that was a lot of fun. So make sure to stay tuned for that. This dude just won the Cy Young. Yes, he did. Darren, shout out to Darren, great member of the channel. Shout out all my members. Let's see what Darren says. Justin Verlander is 12th all time with 3,198 strikeouts. Scherzer's 13th with 3,193. That'll be a grueling battle to watch in Queens next summer. I know. That's going to be nuts. And while that is a fun battle, I'm not going to lie, I don't give a rat's ass nearly as much about that as I do about making sure that they're durable and healthy down the stretch. That is what I am most concerned about. So they've had all their personal accomplishments. It's safe to say they want to win another championship respectfully. Verlander is coming off one. He knows what it takes. Max knows what it takes when he won one in 2019 with the Nationals, which still pisses me off. But no less, we need to get something hopefully rolling with this team with the two-head monster now. LGM Worry, have been here since 5K. I know you have, Nolan. Thank you so much for that dono. Greatly appreciate you, brother. Having a chat to you. And help us get a 500 likes, guys, for the next short-term goal. Greatly appreciate it. I don't know where we are in the like count, but continue smashing those buttons. We have over 1,000 viewers. Only half you guys need to hit that like button right now. Really would mean a lot. Thank you so much. As the Mets have officially signed Justin Verlander to a 2-year, $86.6 million deal, including a third-year vesting option should Verlander get at minimum 140 innings pitched in his second year with the Mets.